All right, good people. We need to talk. 23 is back, and joining me again for part two of my bully culture talk is the ladies from Ladies Lair Podcast. How are you all doing today?
Oh, we're okay.
Wait,
We're fucking
that's a
great.
good answer though. It's
I know.
okay to be just okay.
It's okay to be okay. Thank
We are
you.
okay.
Right. I'm fine. I'm fine. Everything's
You're
fine.
doing well, sweetie.
You're doing great, sweetie, right? Listen, I mean, after everything that happened yesterday, the whole DMX shit, I've just been here. Sorry. Okay.
And you know what? That's a good way to start.
Mm.
But like I said, we are going to get into the bully culture stuff. But I think starting with DMX. So when you all first heard that he went into the hospital, what was your initial reaction to hearing the news?
Well, mine was he was gonna pull through. I don't know. I felt like first I did feel like, oh shit, this is it. And I was like, nah, he'll pull through. Like they all do, right? Like it'll be fine. And then a week passed, and you're just like, oh, he's definitely gonna pull through. He'll be great. And then, yeah,
I don't know. Part of me was waiting to hear that he had passed. Because
really,
I don't know if any one of you guys saw, like, you remember BT was doing like these little segments on like Rough Riders, No Limit.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
they did one on Rough Riders. And I would like I was telling you to watch it. It
you
was
were.
so well done.
Hmm.
Mm,
And Rough Riders is not still like so effective of a musical whatever anymore, but like he gave them the persona of who they were going to be.
Hmm.
And they did such a good interview on him, like, and he was always so wide open with his struggles with his personality disorder, his rough childhood. And it was just like you could see that this man was so broken and wanted help so bad,
mm.
but everyone just knew like this is how he is and there's no way to fix him. And he knew that shit. That's why he was always praying and always, because he just knew like
It's gonna
I
happen.
pray for you before I pray for myself, because
This is who I am. Yeah.
yeah.
So did it?
God.
So we can go back with it. So the first time that you heard DMX and everything. Now the reason I'm asking this is because he came out at I want to say the height, and somebody could correct me when they hear this later. He came out at the height of the shiny suit era and all this other
Ooh,
shit.
yes.
So when he came out and you first heard him, what was your initial reaction to him?
What the fuck is this? And why do we not have more of this?
I mean, for real. Yeah.
What is this?
I think the first time I heard him, honestly, my brothers and me were watching. It wasn't 106 in Park. I forgot. It was one of those like shows though. I remember that. And all of a sudden he came on. I was just like, what the hell? This is awesome. Holy shit. And my brothers are mad hype. And I'm over here, the only girl, mad young. I think I was definitely like 13, 14, if anything. I think definitely at least 13. And I was just like, holy shit, this is fucking great. I don't know what to do right now. I don't know. I mean, I should be a lady and sit back, right? But
No, you
of course
couldn't
not. Of course not. I was all over the fucking place with them.
because it's like he gave something for everybody,
Yeah.
It was literally something for everybody. And for me, I'm from the Bronx, so YO is like right there. And it's like I'm always in Yonkers. I'm like, this is so familiar. This is what the hood sounds like to me. This is magic.
That's true. That's true.
And in the gritty streets, I'm like, this is what I see every day. Like, it's beautiful to me. So it was dope. Like, shit was fire.
I think he truly represented, I don't want to say necessarily up north. I would just say New York and New Jersey more than the shiny suit shit. I get it.
Yeah.
That was, Puff and them trying to transition into something else. But
Right.
DMX, I think, was more relatable to, I know you're a little younger than us, Simone, but translated more to our generation.
Yeah, no. Listen, I mean, my brothers are 10 years older than me, so I was literally looking through the eyes of them anyway. So all this music I had around me because of them anyway. So Listen, I was here for it.
Yeah,
Don't get me
I
wrong.
think,
I did love Puffy though at the time. I was obsessed with
of
him.
course, who didn't
I
want
was
to?
obsessed. Hello, right? Obsessed. Oh my gosh. But then yeah, then you have DMX and you're just like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Yeah, he
Right?
was
Mm,
he was the perfect balance, or he was the
mm,
necessary break
mm.
from the shiny suit shit
Yes.
to, because even Puff trying to force the locks into that shiny suit
Oh
era,
god. That was bad.
they just didn't fit in the shiny suit
No.
nonsense
No.
like he wanted them
Yeah,
to.
like those is hardcore hood niggas. Like if you ever been to Yonkers, like Yonkers is like
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
there's some really nice parts of Yonkers, but where they're from, it's like,
Mm.
and it's like this big. It's
It's
this
true.
big.
Hmm. It's funny because I remember some guy asking me that too. He was like, "Wait, the locks are from Yonkers?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Cause he wasn't from up there. I think he's from Alabama or something." And he was like, "Yonkers, isn't that a nice place?" And I was like, "Yeah, mostly not where they were from, though,
Yeah.
but yeah, mostly." Oh,
So then yesterday when the news came down, when it was finally confirmed, because I'm with Chrissy. Like when I heard that he was in a vegetative state, and anybody that I think that's worked in a nursing home or anything in the medical field or dealt with any type of tragedy in their life, you hear someone is in a vegetative state for that long,
yeah, you
Nine
just
times
know.
back.
you 9 times out of 10 you're looking at it like it's not a good out, nothing good is going to come from
Yeah.
this. So when they finally came through and you heard the news, what was your reaction?
Oh God, you want to go first? Because we were on
I
the
don't know.
phone.
For me, it's like this is always like a rough time of the year for me, and like it sounds so stupid when we like get in our feelings about celebrities passing or whatever, but it's not so much about the passing of them. It's the memories that they give you and the
Mm.
feeling that they give you. You know,
Yes.
that kind of like, because for me, like that music, like life was so fucking good, and
Yeah.
Mm.
it's like that was just a reminder that this goodness that I had, a part of it is now gone. The music is still here,
Of
but the
Mhm.
course.
man who brought it to us is not here. So it kind of like it was like, it hurt. It was not a good day yesterday. I will be honest.
It was
It
rough.
was not a good day, but I was hurt by it because I'm just like, you got all these kids, and it's just so much with loss. It's just like you just hurt for everybody in a situation, even you, the
Mhm.
loss of your own childhood memories, the loss of just that great possibility of there being a DMX fucking verses on TV and you enjoying the shit out of that shit. Like, you know, that was one of the best verses, by the way, because I was in here jamming.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Snoop definitely had that shit
Turns it
a
up.
party. It was a fucking party.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was.
How did
So
you feel, Simon?
Oh my God. So we were on the phone. I'm at work saying, yeah, I have maybe like 20 minutes left, a break. And she starts reading a statement to me. I'm like, no. Yo, oh my God. I mean, we were just crying, like
Like literally trying to like read it and cry and like,
cry and keep it
you're
together.
okay.
It was so emotional. Oh my God. I knew I kind of figured that was his death would hit me because
mhm.
of the significance of it. But I didn't realize it was gonna hit me so hard. I don't know. Like I couldn't even get on social media. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't even look at it. It was just so much. It was like back to back, and it was just like, oh God, like every time I'm just here we go again. All right, I'm start crying again. I didn't realize it would hit me so crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was talking to, I don't know, I was talking to somebody on Instagram, and I was telling him, I said the crazy thing is a big part of, kind of like what Chrissy said, a big part of our musical life has been, you know, taken from us.
Hmm.
And it's just like, okay, we a lot of singers, actors, whatever, anybody in entertainment, you always say, oh, he was the first, or there'll never be another. But I really don't think that we will ever see another DMX. I think the closest I think the closest you could come to, I would have to say, might be Amy Winehouse.
Oh,
That might that might be the closest comparison in terms
right.
of,
Telling her emotions.
I guess a tortured soul,
No, you're absolutely
someone
right.
willing to give their all in their music and let you know what's really going on with them. I think that that's the closest. I don't know a lot about Janis Joplin and a lot of
Right.
the 70s and early 80s rock artists and things like that, but I would have to say Amy Winehouse is the closest to DMX that I think that,
The level of transparency with the
No.
hurt and
Wow, I didn't even
yeah.
think about that. That is absolutely true, though. That was a great comparison. Wow.
So I would say this is one of the first songs I remember from DMX. Let me turn up my plug the Alexa. So
What? Niggas can't fuck with us. Get at me, dog.
DMX and the Lots remix, that was the
What you don't know, we'll get you wrapped and sleep away camp. Grand champ and I raise more hell.
I ain't gonna play it too long. I don't want to bring up no more emotions and stuff.
Right,
But
right.
no, but when you hear it, it's just like you right back to that moment. You back into that place where you just for me, like, what was I driving in? I think I was driving a white LS 400. Me on the highway, bitch. Such a good fucking time.
Yeah.
that summer was the best. You
Yeah.
could not bring you could not find a car
Oh,
that wasn't playing something with DMX in it or the DMX album. And
Yeah.
it's just, like I said, a big part of that 98 summer was.
yeah, you're right. And you know how music actually, when you listen to it 20 years from then, it changes and stuff. I seriously, and that's not a lie, 6 months ago, a year ago, was sitting there listening to still his albums, like riding in a car. Like, and it's fucking great.
You in the
Still.
car losing it. The level
Like,
of it.
still.
Get at me,
What the
dog.
fuck?
Like,
And it's not from this weekend. It's not from yesterday. People still bumping him now. And like somebody said, they just now listening to him now after 10 years. No, I was literally listening to this nigga. Like, I have all his albums on my fucking phone. Like,
in my phone.
jamming
Like,
that shit.
when I listen
Like,
to this thing on rotation.
I mean, I think that's the thing too. When you play one song, you're like, oh, I gotta play all the rest of them now. Like,
It's
that's
just
it.
like, oh, where's the one with him and Aaliyah? Oh, where's
Girl. Okay. Like, I mean, it's still fucking great music, and that's the crazy part. Like, it's, oh god.
It doesn't. His music doesn't sound like it aged at all. Like,
At
you
all.
go back to, even with Jay-Z, if you go back and listen to like him and Foxy and all
oh,
that stuff,
totally.
you can
Yes.
tell the difference in time. But
Yes.
if you listen to DMX, this is still X. You could, like I said, you played it 20 years ago, you play it now,
Yes.
and it doesn't sound like it aged anything. The only thing
No.
that ages us and our memories. Is
Oh,
like you
yeah.
said, you hear that song, the Get At Me Dog remix with the Locks, and you could sit back and go, damn, I remember sitting on the stoop. I remember
Yeah.
I was headed to, Skate Key, wherever the hell you going. All that shit is in your head, and you just like, I remember exactly where I was. And that's the, and that's the part that sucks, is that, we can carry on his music, his legacies. I don't think we'll ever get tired of his prayers and stuff.
Yeah, no.
And his music will definitely live on and carry on for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely think so too.
It just sucks that sometimes it takes things like this for you to talk about somebody. And I'm very plugged into what's happening on hip hop and TV, so I'm always watching like old hip hop stuff and like anything that's paying homage to when music was amazing. I'm always watching it. So like I was like still like plugged in and listening and like just watching and just little things like they still trying to keep, like they need that balance between that old and that new for music to sound like what it's gonna be in 10 years. Because imagine if you can play a song from 1998 and that shit knock off. When they play some shit that was created in 2021, what the fuck are they gonna think 10 years from now?
Yeah.
What is it gonna sound like?
Trash.
We'll never know the big difference in the two, because when DMX comes on, that's DMX. When music today comes on, we gotta wait.
You don't know who it is.
We gotta wait till we hear the first couple lyrics to go, okay, that's Future, that's Designer, that's whoever.
Don't ask me nobody's names, because I have become the uncool mom. I am that person now. My son is playing some shit. I'm like, so what you in there listening to now? Also, I know Track Star.
Wow.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie, tonight keeps me up to date too, so it's fine. It's fair.
I mean, I'm like you. I'm like you, Chrissy. I only two people I really keep up with it. I would say is the baby and Lil Baby and Cardi B. I'll say I keep up with her only because her energy. I love
Shit is
her energy.
trash.
The music, yeah, her
Thank you.
energy. I like her
Yeah, her
energy
energy
though.
is great. Yes.
You know,
Her music
so
is trash though.
no,
Let's just go there. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
It's hard.
we're turning this
But
into
okay.
a musical episode.
No, we're not.
oh
No,
no,
let's
no,
go
no.
back.
We're gonna touch on, but it's good. Even if it, even having this musical portion, it's good to hear
Yeah.
females.
Keep it a little light.
Keep it a little light, because but we'll jump into the whole bully culture thing. So
Right.
for you all, and I'm gonna ask this question just to put what I'm gonna ask you all in context. So how would you all describe your podcast if someone were to ask you what's the basis of your podcast? How would you two describe it?
How do I describe our podcast? That's, for me, it always starts from friendship.
Mm-hmm.
It always starts from friendship for me. And then it's just like knowing that you're not alone when you're going through something. Because I feel like I've expressed this to her lately a little too much that it's kind of corny now. But like, you just feel like you're alone when you're dealing with certain things. It's just like, oh, I'm alone. I don't want to talk about it with anyone. And to know that you can have people who, even if they're not going to interact with you, but they want to listen because they're dealing with what you're dealing with. That's dope. And also, like, we just want to have fucking fun. Life is so fucking hard. Let's have some laughs. Let's talk some shit and let's drink some fucking tequila. Like, literally, that is how I would embody us. Like, as we take a shot of tequila.
That was perfect. That was literally perfect.
Perfect timing.
Yes.
Like,
So
that's the only way. Like,
that. Yeah, I would just
tune in, listen, laugh, know that you're not alone, and have a good fucking time. Life is too hard.
So what about you? I wait till you take your shot. I don't want.
I'm like,
okay, respect the shot. Respect the Terramana.
You talk while I take the shot. Oh, okay, cool.
I'm done.
Okay.
So how would you describe it, Simone?
I mean, basically what she said. Like, I feel like our friendship is so real, and a lot of people don't unfortunately have that in their life. So they see us and it's like they could relate to us, but at the same time it's like, wow, I wish I had this bond with somebody else.
Yeah, okay.
So and it's nice to hear that, because we hear it a lot. We give people what we literally are on a 3-hour conversation on FaceTime. Like, this is us. And I mean, I feel like, yeah, like you said, I even listened to this podcast earlier that I was relating to with being a widow. And I feel like that's like, you want to find that, you want to find that podcast that you can relate to. And we're hoping that, so anybody can relate to us, whether they're going through losing a mother, whether they're going to losing a husband, whether they're going to just have a good goddamn time. They want to talk about goddamn sex. Let's go. Like, yeah, I feel like, yeah.
and that's, and I'm gonna say, and you said it, Simone. So what I'm gonna say about, at least what I take from y'all podcast, outside of the friendship and everything, because like I said, what really tuned me into you two was the episode where you two cried, the majority of the episode, and it was good, and it was refreshing to hear that that you can get on there and do that. But also in some of your other episodes, you two are having a good time, and it sounds genuine. It doesn't sound forced. And the third thing too is that, do you two consider yourselves like a sex positive podcast at all?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
What would not be positive about it?
Remember Christmas time when we were here and we were talking, it's about to happen. We were talking about squirting, and
yes.
You know, her and I talk about it freely all the time. And all the other ladies, we had like maybe 3 or 4 other girlfriends over here, and they were like, and I'm like, has it happened to you? Like, let me know your experience. And they were just like, everyone was so shy about it. And I'm like, you're grown. Like, these things are normal. If something is not normal, if something not normal is happening, let's talk about it. Let's figure out how we can get more of it or less of it. Like, it's like, don't be ashamed to be you. Like, as people, we're supposed to evolve. We're not supposed to just be muted and stagnant and quiet and just grow in a dark place. No, grow in the light. Why the fuck would I grow in the dark? That sucks.
Yes, I scored it finally. So yeah, with this accomplishment. That's what the whole conversation was. I hadn't done it, and I was like, "Hey, I did it. Cool. It was awesome."
Well,
yes,
cool.
we're very sex positive. Absolutely.
I know somebody hearing this is gonna be like, "What the fuck does that have to do with anything?" Because I started off with the whole bully culture thing. So the reason that I asked that is because with bully culture, like I said, at least in my head when I'm envisioning it now is a multi-series on bully culture. So you two are filling in a perfect spot. So the question I want to ask you too is that with bully culture, is everybody wanting us to be what they think that we should be? You know, like, okay, women, you know, your podcast, for example, they may look at it and go, oh, they're so raunchy, this, and that. And you'll get all of I'm sure at some point in time, you'll see comments in your section talking about, oh, this was disgusting, I can't listen to this, or something along the line where it's a negative comment. So that's where I was going with the bullying culture thing, is that have either of you or both of you ever felt like you've been bullied to not speak freely about, you know, what you all have been through, you know, and talking and speaking freely about your sexuality and different things like that?
Wow. No, I haven't.
So I have, and unfortunately, it was a family member. You know, I was talking about an episode that I wanted to record with Simone and I, and it would include bringing family in because, again, we talk about sex and shame like it's a shameful thing, but we all want it. We're all trying to get it. We're all trying to do it. We're trying to do it better, longer, faster, harder, whatever. And I'm saying to the person, like, you know, I'm thinking about doing an episode and I would like, you know, trying to figure out how to incorporate family into the episode. And the other person in the room goes, like, I can see the response from the person I'm speaking to is like, you know, she's like, what? And I'm, you know, the person she's speaking to is just like, I'm just saying, isn't her podcast all about sex? Would you want to even do something like that? And I'm just like, oh, it's not. First of all, if you'd watch, it's not all about that, but it always comes back to the dick. It always comes back to the pussy because everyone's trying to get some.
Right.
And it lightens everything up. It makes you feel good. It makes you healthy. Like, it makes your skin look good. Like, what's the problem? And I was just so taken aback because I'm just like, I'm such a supporter and a cheerleader for anyone who's doing something different and just trying something. This is new to all of us, you know? And all of these things are conversations that we have. So I don't feel like I should be ashamed to have these conversations and film them. And for it to be family to not support, to feel like I have to be this particular type of person, or maybe my content is too raunchy. Like, I'm a grown up. I can alter whatever I'm doing to suit who my guest is. I would never just ask someone who's not like, who's super holy, like, do you take it up the ass? I'm not doing that to you. Like, you know, there's a way to do things. So for you to assume that because I'm like this with this person, I'm going to be the same with you. You know, I was just like, ugh, it really rubbed me a wrong way. I didn't really even address it, but because it was just like,
right. But those are always the same people that don't listen to your podcast. They see a clip of something and they go instantly, that's what it is. You know, and it's fucked up. Like, how about you listen first and then give your opinion? If you don't, I really don't give a fuck about your opinion, but if you really want to.
Yeah.
But it's
so the question, family and friends, they feel like you need to be this thing. And I'm just like, even like another family member was just like, well, your podcast is just about you, so who cares about that anyway? I was like, wow.
Oh, you never told me that.
You know who it is.
Oh God.
And see, and that's the thing with bully culture, because when I was sitting down thinking about the whole bully culture thing, I was just thinking about one part of it. But then when I started to
It's broad.
really look into it, like you said, it's really, really broad, and it covers so many things. So, for example, like the episode that's coming out next week is, we're talking about a lot of things in terms of, you know, and I'll ask you too the same question, like talking about Black Lives Matter, the LGBTQ community. And like I said, and I just want to put this out there, we don't have somebody on here, at least, and you two, either one of you can correct me if I'm wrong, but have someone that could represent that community correctly and teach, because I want to learn more, because I don't want anyone to take me doing this series as, oh, well, he forgot about us, or he's talking too much about us, or whatever the case is. But I am going to bring them up just as a point of reference, not to bash or anything like that. But for example, like with Black Lives Matter, I take it, and I think I was telling Christy before you came on, Simone, with them, it seems like if you're not with us, you're against us.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with the LGBTQ community, and all lives matter. If you look at anything that's been going on, especially in the last year, oh, well, if you're not speaking about it, you're not posting it on your page, oh, you must be against it. And my whole stance on it is that I don't have to be 100% behind it, because there's shit with Black Lives Matter that I don't agree with. You know what I mean? And it's not that I'm not with it, shit. I've been Black all my life. I don't think that's gonna change.
Right.
So, but there's shit that I hear from them. There's shit that I hear from a lot of these groups that it's just like, I could back this, but I can't back that. And a lot of times this bully culture makes it seem like, oh, well, you're wrong for feeling like this because you're not backing us 100%.
Right.
So how do you two feel about, and if I'm putting you, either one of you in a bad spot asking the question, you could ignore the question or just say, I don't want to talk about that, and I'm fine with that.
Okay.
But especially when it comes to like Black Lives Matter or any one of these groups, have you ever felt, whether it's on Instagram, family, whatever the case is, have you ever felt bullied into, oh, well, how come you don't talk about this on your podcast and shit like that? Because I've been asked that, how come you don't talk about this? There's like certain shit I don't want to talk about. And it's not
my show. It's my platform.
I wish a motherfucker would ask me, what the fuck? Why am I not talking about that? Are you fucking kidding me? Listen, it's our platform. We literally could talk about whatever we want to. If I want to bash another podcaster, I could do it because it's my fucking platform. Mm-hmm. If I want to say, this guy should go suck a dick, I could go say that because it's my fucking platform. It's just like social media, just like it's my mouth. It's like, hello, that's just ridiculous. But anyway, so my thing is too, this whole Black Lives Matter thing. Do I support it because I'm Black? Like, is that the only reason I should support it? Isn't that stupid of me? Isn't that just ignorant?
Unenlightened of you?
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So if I would support something like that, it would be because I want to. But also, I'm going to say something. I did walk around with the Black Lives Matter shirt into my job, taking a white client, and she looked at me crazy, as if, why are you walking around with that shirt on, knowing you have my white ass in your chair? Like, so then I honestly kind of felt uncomfortable. Like, damn, maybe I shouldn't have wore this. Like, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm in between those things where I will definitely, like you said, I do support the Black Lives Matter, but of course, some of the things that they, talk about, whatever, I don't agree with. But then it's just like, well, do I have to support it because I'm Black? I'm going to support it because I'm Black. That's besides the point. I'm blackity black, all right? Just because I'm light skinned.
Look at all that melanin, honey.
Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
For me, all those entities that I need to support and I should post and repost, I consider that to me sometimes like religion. I only have these conversations in safe places
Right.
because I have very strong opinions on all of them.
Mm.
I'm not going to support every and anything just because I am brown.
Right.
Because you're a man-made thing. It wasn't here, and no one's taught me how to deal with you.
Mm.
And it's all those things are propaganda. It's opinion. So again, I'm being bullied into it because your opinion of me is that I'm black. Black lives should matter. But this is an organization. This is not gospel. This is not the written word that it came from heaven above. It's none of that. And even that is open for translation.
Exactly.
So the chapter that's in New York or whatever is probably going to be different from the chapter in California. That might be where I want to be, so it's all a translational thing. I can be black and support my blackness. I will support black businesses. I will make sure that my child is reading books that represent him and, things of that nature. I don't need to support an organization to prove that I'm black. Just as a gay person doesn't need to be walking around LGBT in their whole fucking life. And for people to know, like, I support this community. There are things that you can do without plastering it on your fucking Facebook page to let people know that I support. And guess what? If you want to see it, there's so many other fucking channels. Change the channel and find one that you like, because it ain't happening over here. I don't post shit on my Instagram.
Thank you.
I just
exactly.
don't.
Anyway, right.
Like, what do you want to see
It's
here?
true.
Like, we were posting like a funny meme, me like posting a picture of my mom or my son or my nephew, like, knock yourself out. Every now and then you'll get a good selfie of me going out. Like,
right.
It's like for people to have the audacity to feel like I should do something because you think I should, how dare you? That's where you need to start. You need to check yourself when you need to start to police other people. Even like with the whole stuff with people wearing masks now. Guess what? If I'm in the store and I feel like I'm suffocating, pull the motherfucker down. Look at me how you want to.
Get that fresh
They
air.
are bullying you into that too now. It's very
and that's another part, like the bullying for that. Like the way I felt one day when I was in a supermarket. I was in a supermarket for a while. I'm just like, I can't breathe. Like, I really need some air. This thing looked at me like, I'm looking at her like,
I'm getting bullied into the vaccine right now from all my clients.
Really?
They're all, and I told you, they're not asking, oh, are you going to get the vaccine? It's when you're going to get the vaccine. Like, wait, the fuck? Wait. Who said I'm going to get it? How about you ask me if I'm going to get it? I literally had a nurse yesterday telling me, you need to go get it. You know, they do it in CVS now, in Walmart, and Walgreens. You want to make an appointment? Like, she was on it. I was like, first of all, I'm 33 years old. You are not, and you're younger than me, so calm down. Okay, you're not gonna bully me into fucking getting a fucking vaccine. Okay, if I want to get it, I want to get it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yo.
I think the time that we're living in, the audacity of people these days is
perfect word.
Wild.
Perfect
for you to feel like your opinion on something should alter how I live my life. Fuck out of here.
And then when you snap at them, then they want to make it seem like you're doing something wrong. All I did was ask a question. It's not, you didn't ask it in a general way. You asked more in a forceful way, like, you should go get that vaccine. You're not really asking me. You're telling me.
You're telling me what to do with my body.
And it's just like, and that's part of the whole broad spectrum of this bully culture stuff, is that, like, people think it only applies to like cancel culture and all that type of shit, but no, it falls into everyday life. Whether we notice it or not, it encompasses a good portion of our day, because it's I don't know, from the news to social media and all this other shit, from young girls, you should look like this. A lot of these, young girls, and this is why I feel a lot of young women feel that they need to look like, the Kardashians or some of these IG models. Oh, here goes Vonnie.
Oh, good.
They feel like they need to look like this particular person or entity, whatever the case is, because somebody else is telling them this is what's normal, this is what's right, versus how that person feels. Shit, we all have the right to choose and say and see how we want to be, versus someone coming in and going, you should do this. And why the fuck should I do it? Maybe
Right.
I don't want to do it. Like I told
Right.
him, I went out and got the vaccine, and I was talking to Christy before you two got on,
Right.
and I was talking to Vonnie. So before, was it a week or so ago? So Vonnie knows where I work and stuff. But
Right.
that's why I went and got the vaccine. I didn't
Yeah.
want to get it. I have not gotten a flu shot in it's
Oof.
been years. I don't believe in that shit. I
I
really
agree with
don't.
you.
Yeah.
But because of where I work, it's
Right.
just like, you know what? I don't trust the people that I'm around. So it's
Right.
just
If
like,
this would make life easier.
yeah, let
Um,
me get it because I don't want to bring anything home to my wife and kids and stuff like that. So that's, so to a certain degree,
yeah.
that's on the lighter side of being bullied into
Right.
it.
Right. That's to each his own, though.
Yeah.
And it was also like a serious family choice as well. Like when
That's
you
true.
have people literally saying to you like, well, you have underlying conditions, so you better get the vaccine. And then like they're
Right.
asking you as a question, like it's a part of like, is it your business?
Mhm.
That's like
Exactly.
asking me, hey, did you get your period this month?
Yeah.
It-
No, it's true. Are you gonna get that abortion because you're pregnant? No, bitch. What the
like
fuck?
that's none of your business. And
It's
that's
my goddamn body.
and that's how we should take those kind of questions to that level of offense, because this is a personal choice with me.
It is. Absolutely.
Like that's
Hi,
how
Bonnie.
offended I become when the people start to ask it.
It's true.
Hello,
Hi.
Miss
Hey,
Vonnie.
Bonnie. She's like, I came in a hot one, huh?
Right?
We
Wait,
can't
we
hear
can't hear
you.
you.
We can't hear you, Vonnie.
No,
No.
it's unmuted. It is unmuted. Maybe it's the mic. It's not plugged in, maybe. Oh, yep. You did something because I hear it now. It
Nope.
was
I
doing
heard
it
you for a second.
for a second, right?
No,
um,
well, I would just say because on top of all of that, it's a shame that and I know I'm gonna step on some toes on this one, but I also have I don't want to mess the title up. I have a pastor or
oh,
an associate pastor coming on the show too that I'm going to
nice.
ask these same questions.
Oh,
More on the religious side because
mm-hmm.
I want to know. But when it comes to, and I'm not asking you all this question, but if you want to chime in, please do. But even when it comes to religion, it's I'm gonna try not to curse, but it's the same thing. It's just like, oh, are you a Christian? No. Well, why not? And
Mm,
and it's almost like you
mm,
feel like you're being bullied into Christianity and these different type things. And it's just like, okay, why do I have to be
Yeah.
Christian or whatever the case is? Why can't
right.
I just believe in
A higher
God?
power.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and there we go, in a higher power. I don't have to believe what you believe, and then I feel like I'm getting attacked or, oh, well, you're going to hell if you don't believe in this. And there's gonna be people that say, oh, no, 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 we don't do that. No, no, you may not do it, but there are some Christians that are
Definitely
walking
making
around
me
with
feel
exactly walking around with that pitchfork, like you better join or else.
right. Or like, oh, you can't quote me verses from the Bible. No, I cannot.
No.
Did he live? Yes, he did. Did he save me? He sure does. Does he help you through your life every day? Does he wake you up? Yes, sir. But
Exactly.
I don't need to go to church to believe those things.
Nope.
It's true.
I know
Absolutely.
what I experience on a daily basis. I
Mhm.
know what he does for me. And I don't need to walk around with a verse on my arm or the Bible in my hand for people to understand my heart. It's not for you.
It's true.
Shit, have the people walking around with a Bible verse on their arm. They don't even understand the shit. Somebody
No.
told it to them and said, you know what you're
I
going
like that
through.
one. That's
Yeah, I like that one. That fits you. That's somebody telling you that it fits you. You didn't say it fits you.
Mm.
Whatever your current situation is, somebody, may have heard Psalms or Genesis or something and said, you know what, Psalms 92, whatever fits you. You should get this. And then you see it and in a light way, you got bullied into getting this put on your arm because somebody told you that it represents you.
Yes.
All right,
So
are
my
you
favorite
there,
is
Bonnie?
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Still can't hear you.
Yeah, maybe pop
My
out
bad.
and
Oh,
come
wait.
back in.
Oh, there
I'm
you
gonna
go.
Yeah.
take it out because it's just not working for anything right now. Can y'all hear me
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
We can hear you.
now?
As long as
Welcome,
we hear you,
welcome,
it's okay,
welcome,
girl.
Bonnie.
Hey, how y'all doing?
We're
Hey.
good. So now that you're here now, you know what we're talking about, the whole bully culture thing. And so for at least from what you were hearing, is there any part that you want to chime in on before I, throw another question out there or throw a question to you?
I think the thing actually that it's been something that's been on my mind a lot lately of like this idea of like the mainstream and how like the mainstream is like this bored mindset of like of assigning societally like what things are acceptable and then what things aren't acceptable. And I heard you guys talking about the vaccine. It kind of reminds me of like that individually, yes, what works for you is good, but whenever you reference it or compare it to like whatever most people think about is going to be that problem. And what stems like I think the title bully culture is like an interesting way to put it, where I think you're just talking about like societal rules and how mass groups of people have power and what they do with that power. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I was trying to put a lot in there, but that's just what I thought about.
No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And I think before we came on, I was telling Christy and Simone about our wonderful episode that started that we didn't get to finish, which I swear I wish
Yeah.
I wish we could have finished. But so let me, if you don't mind, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm prying into your personal business or anything, but at least from what you shared on that episode, which I'm going to include either with this or make it because I think it's only about 20 or 30 minutes that we got through, but I'm going to put it out because there's a lot of good stuff that you and I said, and also Dell and Dolomite. But do you mind sharing what you remember what we were talking about that day?
Yeah, I think we started out with the bully culture thing, but most of it was really about the idea of like queer or like what makes something homophobic, I think was like a big topic of what we talked about, and how we're still navigating that in the Black community and what it should look like. You know what I mean? And of course, I think we've got like perfect people here to sort of continue that conversation as well. But I just shared on it like I'm queer, and then like my perspective of being a Black woman, but also like having a lot of knowledge of like, the queer community and how it kind of like collides and kind of like bumps on itself. So I feel like that was a good wrap up of what we were starting to get into with the last episode.
Okay, and Simone or Chrissy, if you have any questions you want to jump in,
Actually,
like I
do.
said, you know how my platform rolls. It's a free flowing freestyle format. So at any time, if you have anything you want to say,
Do
please.
you feel like the LGBTQ
You.
community? I'd say, oh, make sure I get all the letters.
Right.
Right. Do you feel like it? Do you feel like being in that community, you could also be in the Black Lives Matter community?
Yes, I think what's frustrating is like people don't see, like when you're Black and queer, like it's not an either or, it's a both.
No, I believe so too. Right. Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we were driving one day when I was in Georgia, and for some reason, and I don't feel like it's us Black people. I feel like other people feel the need to start to separate.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
This big thing,
right?
Because before it all, we're Black. Besides us being human, before all of that, we are Black. So then, just like in any category of people, you have your people who have curlier hair, your people who have finer, like there's always going to be a way to separate us.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, you have people who are like Black queer lives matter,
That's what I'm
Black trans
saying.
lives matter. Like,
Okay.
it's all
Well,
one
yeah,
umbrella.
it is. Okay, so with that, it's kind of like, okay, so
And we fall for
if
it.
it's Black Lives Matter, why can't we say Black trans lives matter and have the same reverence for it? Why is it why I guess I understand it because you don't want to use it. It's not the objective of trying to replace or
I get what you're saying.
supersede. It's to bring you to the realization of like, that's your sister, your like, it's the
Just want to
same.
enlighten it more.
And it's like, if I can say Black Lives Matter, I should be able to say Black trans lives matter with the same reverence, you know. And again, some people are uncomfortable depending on your relation to like the mainstream. We got to bring that. That's why, like, I really want you to maybe, or like give it a extra title too, of like, it's the idea of like, what is the mainstream? How much of it are we gonna, our voices speaking today, how much of it are we gonna allow to affect the way we do things? And are we gonna fight against that? And what things do we agree with?
I think at least for me, I think part of my issue is, and it's not an issue with, you know, sorry, Black trans lives matter and all these different
Right.
things. My issue is the separation. And I get it, everybody wants their and if anything I say is offensive to you, Vonnie, or anybody that hears this or whatever, please let me know. But my issue is that for your cause, I think it's all one. I think, like you said, the social norms and society, social media, all this other shit makes us feel like, oh well, if you're black trans or Black queer, whatever the case is, oh, you got to pick a side and all this other shit. Why can't we just all march together? Because at the end of the day, the first thing that anybody that dislikes us sees is the color of our skin. It's
Yeah.
not like they walk up to us and they're like, oh, well, you know
Yeah.
what? Oh, you're black and you're queer. Oh, all right. I'm not gonna mess with you. I'm gonna go
Well,
here.
but my question is, who are you asking that to? Because most Black queer people understand that, and
Oh, no,
we
no, no,
are.
no.
Yeah,
And
that's what.
that's what I'm saying. Okay, yeah, all right. Let me clarify. I'm not asking the
I'm like,
Black
what?
anybody that's Black, trans, or queer or gay, whatever umbrella or anything you fall under. I'm not posing that question to them.
Right.
I'm just saying, when it comes to social norms, they like to divide us and make it seem like it's all separate things. No, at the end of the day, yes, we're fighting because we're Black, and you know, we're fighting because, you know, so and so is trans or queer, whatever the case is. But
Right.
my thing is when it comes to it, and like I said, and that's just my issue. And like I said, I'm here to learn from you, Vonnie, and anyone else. I really, and no, I mean that with all sincerity, because I don't know it all. I really don't, and that's why I want to
We
hear
all
it.
don't.
I want to learn. I want to grow
Yes.
because
Well, whenever you're around me, you never have to worry about holding your tongue, because like, I get it, and I find myself, unfortunately, like dancing on both sides anyway, and like I'm kind of used. So like, you will not offend me. I do not, like, you don't have to search for the right terms. I will just kind of go like, hey, for your information, like, this is kind of like how it should, or like a lot of people like it to be addressed.
Mhm.
I just watched Drag Race with my mom last night, and like, she gets it. I know she loves me. A lot of that she's not comfortable with. So I'm well versed in having to, like, again, play that. I always like the term cultural translator. Like, I'm cool with it. So you don't ever have to worry about insulting me or anything.
Oh no, no. I mean, but that's my thing, because I look at it, and like I said, because for me, and like I said, and I think I mentioned on the short episode that we ended up doing, was that when I say I don't care, I don't want people to take it at so literally or by the definition of every word in I don't care. When I say I don't care, I'm saying, is I'm speaking only for me, is that
To be
what
alive.
Yeah, it's your life. It's your opinion. However you feel about it, cool. I'm not going to tell you you're right or wrong because I don't know what your daily struggle is. I don't know what you're doing. Like I said, we could all get on here now. And if I, in the beginning, I said, how you doing? And Simone said, I'm doing okay. I can't get on here and tell Simone, oh, you're not doing okay. You're doing great. Shit, we're on here. We talking, blah, blah, blah. I can't do that because I don't know what you're going through. And like I said, if it came out or we're sitting here talking and she wants to divulge some stuff, cool, I'm here to listen. I don't need to record it to try and if you want to talk, then you can talk about it. But I think it's just a whole lot of I just think it's a whole lot of shit thrown into it that makes it hard to.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
what I felt like with that, what Stop Asian Hate. If you guys looked at it, Rihanna was like involved in the parade and stuff. And I looked in the comments and people were like, well, you don't see Asians marching with us. And it's just like, why do we have to do that?
Exactly.
It's a fair question, but I think a lot of people, I think that's how a lot of Black people deal with their frustration of just like
Right.
never being taken seriously. And then when someone else is hurting, right, it's like all this fanfare. And it just comes from a lack of being able to truly express your frustration. And then it just comes out at inopportune times. Like, and I think, no, not here, but I was talking with somebody recently of like, the media has greatly mishandled, like that's a surprise, the Black communications with the Asian community. Because I just remember saying, you're not even for somebody on CNN was like, let's have the conversation of like, why is the African American community responding like this? And it's like, who from the Black community have you, like, you can't have a town hall for my tribe and you're not in my tribe. You know what I mean? It's not a conversation for you to bring to anywhere. So
and then, I'm sorry.
No,
then you watch where they have the conversations. Because I know where I live.
Right.
I know when I walk into certain stores, it's not me behind the counter.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So to have these conversations, they need to really place themselves in places where the misunderstanding is happening. So there might be a reason why Tyrone talked to the lady in the Chinese restaurant like that. There might be a reason why the lady behind the serving of the chicken is talking to Tyrone like that. So let's try and nullify those things that they don't understand and try and solve the problems there, because sometimes that's where the stem is coming from. Yeah. It's not coming from the doctor's office. It's not. That's not where the miscommunication happens. It's happening where we fucking live. And unfortunately, it goes back to the whole thing of something being one entity and they pick apart how they're going to serve it to us. And because we're such whores for social media, TV, we believe everything that they're feeding us. And if we're not giving back the 70-80% consensus that everyone's moving with, like the whole crowd is moving this way, I've always been the person, if everybody going that way, something back here belongs to me. The shit that's back here is what I'm fucking with. I'm not with the shit over there. Fuck the 80. Something is happening over there in 80, and I don't want no parts of 80. And we have to start to see that. And it's okay to be a free thinker. Think for yourself. I hate a fucking label. Right. I am a non-label motherfucker. And just like, when you said like, with the understanding of the queer and all the letters and all that stuff, like, I don't understand it, but I'm not going to violate it. Mm-hmm. But also let me having my opinion and me trying to find my way into the understanding be okay. And it's not me being like homophobic or any of that. Like, let it be okay for me to feel how I feel. That's okay. But I would never disrespect you as a person because of your sexuality and how you identify yourself. Mm-hmm. And if you identify yourself as you, if you want to call yourself she, him, rabbit, cat, dog today, if I call you a monkey, that should not make you mad. Not really meaning a monkey, but saying like, I already know who I am.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Knowing that I know
I
I am Christy Stone. You calling me Vanessa Williams shouldn't make me mad. I'm just like, nigga, I ain't Vanessa. Who the fuck cares? Next. Like, I just want us to be okay with understanding who we are and just embrace it and just explain to people like, listen, next time, just call me Christy. It's okay. You don't need to call me the whole name.
Right.
I'm
It's
good
like
with
somebody calling you white and be like, well, I'm actually black. Like the fuck, you know who you are. That's it.
But
Right.
but that's part of like what what Vonnie was saying, and I think I somewhat lost my train of thought earlier. I think it's the shots, but
Y'all take your shots again.
Oh no, Christy is sober as fuck.
hey,
That's
Listen, don't show me a shot. I'll take one. Go ahead.
yeah, I got mine ready to go. No, but but what I was saying is that when it comes to like us, them being them, when I say them, I'm talking about the media, social media, whatever the case is, trying to separate us. I don't think it should be that. I think if you want to, I liken it to this. Have you ever watched the opening ceremonies at the Olympics? Have you
love
ever
it.
noticed when they come out, you'll have the men's volleyball team, the men's basketball team, the women's, and straight down the line, and they do it by sports. So I think when you have, like, let's say a Black Lives rally or anything like that, or whatever, rally you're at, I think it should be all in one. So if we come out together, because I think together, if we come out, it's a lot stronger than,
Yeah.
all right, the transgenders are over there, the queers are over there, the Black people are here. I think if we come together, and I'm not saying that it has to be a pecking order, like, all right, the Blacks first, then the queers, whatever. No. We come out, we march together, hold hands, or whatever you want to do, because at the end of the day, we're all, for the most part, fighting for respect. And people, and I think the media, social media, likes to look at it and go, oh, well, they're fighting for this because
Exactly.
they're Black and they're trans, or they're Black and they're queer. Oh, you're just fighting because you're Black. No. We're all fighting for that same level of respect. And it does not matter if it's trans, queer, whatever it is, we're all fighting for the same respect. And that's where I think my issue comes in at, is that we allow the media, social media, and all this other shit to tell us, oh, no. You're fighting for two different things. No, the fuck we're not. Respect is respect. The same way, like how we were talking about Christianity and all this other stuff. That's why I always tell people, like, oh, you believe in God? I'm like, there's one God. You can get mad at me all you want. There's one God. I don't care, you Buddhist, atheist, Seventh-day Evangelist, whatever the case is, there's one God. The same thing, there's one respect. There's not different levels of respect. We're all fighting for respect, and it's the same shit. It shouldn't matter if queer, gay, whatever the case is. It's all the same shit, at least in my eyes. Am I wrong?
No.
No.
That's what I was trying to say.
I think you're completely
That's what I
right.
was trying to say with the Asian hate thing. It's just like, okay, so they don't go with us. So if I don't, okay, so I'm not a lesbian, that means I can't march with the LGBTQ community? No. Why can't I? What the fuck? That's what I'm trying to say. And so what? We, like you said, we're all trying to have respect. We're all trying not to get fucking killed on a daily basis. Okay, like that's it. I mean, it's just like women and men. So we're gonna march on separate ways? No, we're all fucking human. Why can't we all be together no matter what? We're all trying to represent something, but we should be able to do it together.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
And we all
Me
need each other at some
too.
point in time. Like, I'm gonna need to get my nails done.
I'm
That's
leaving.
who's doing it. I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna
just take my shot on that one. Let's go.
Like,
with the always with the quips, always ready.
I love her. I swear to God.
we're getting it real heavy here.
No, I'm with you though. That's why I say it's like queen of the timing. I love it. No,
Listen,
Go ahead,
we all
Vonnie.
need each other, and unfortunately, we get so caught up in everyone trying to separate us. And if it's the cliche thing to do, we're all human, right? But we need each other, and thank God that this whole podcasting thing has happened, because you know, as big as the world is, Simone and I were talking about it yesterday, we've come to realize how small it is. You know, and we're not alone. And it's okay to have these conversations in safe places and know that you're not judged and know that you're not the only one saying the things that you're saying. And also you have people in the room who, if you are saying something that might be offensive to someone who's willing to teach you and help you understand, like, that sounds crazy, but this is what you could have said. Or here's why, you know, people may feel like what you say is offensive. Like, that's okay. But you also have to be open to listening and learning and knowing that you can be better than the last thing that you said. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're all on the journey. We're all learning and giving people the space for that. I feel early the question was asked, why can't we all march together and we all, you know, the labels? It's kind of like the question is, who stands to benefit? You know what I mean? And I think Black people, all people need to kind of like step back and think like, we're kind of a product of the society, of the system that is a thing. Like, human error is an error for a reason. Like, we're gonna get some stuff wrong. Some of the views and thoughts that we have is going to be, you know, incorrect to a level. And so if we want to have any sort of unity, it's going to require for everyone to be uncomfortable, everyone to be honest, and then everyone to work on doing better. It's like, I feel like the current society that we have, like, the more that I look at history and stuff like that, it feels like the same people are in control. You know what I mean? It's just like a new face put on it every 20 years. You know what I mean?
And that's, I mean, and that's the thing, is just like you said, I think it's a lot of people. I think, like we said right before you came on, like when I was talking to Simone and Chrissy, and I said, with them being a sex positive podcast, I think people are afraid to live their truth and live who. And it's not to say that if you march with the gay and lesbians that you're, you know, that you're gay or lesbian. I don't give a fuck what society thinks about me. Like I said, I know who the hell I am to my wife and kids and my family and all that type shit. So you know, let's say for example, Vonnie, if you knew of a march or something coming up and you invited me, I'm not gonna somebody might see me out there. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna I'm gonna come walk with you because, like I said, I met you through this whole podcasting thing. I didn't know you before this, but if you extend the, you know, olive branch or something to me and say, hey, look, I want you to come out and march with me. Fuck it. For me, I'm looking at it as the fact that you thought enough of me to invite me to this, as you know, as your guest. That's an honor to me. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. They'll see me at the, you know, at the rally or the march or whatever the case is and go, oh, this dude, he on some funny shit. I don't give a fuck. I'm like, you know what my background is, you know what my track record is. I'm cool with that.
Well, do you know how progressive that is? Believe, like, again, mainstream will have you believe that, like, you know, everybody's woke, everybody this, and I just feel like locally we mentioned, I'm not sure who mentioned before, like, the idea of locally is where we have to take back for ourselves. Like, I'm grateful for like this podcasting thing because I had to go to this level, believe it or not, to find like-minded people that I could talk to. Like, it's like a new, it's like a coming out of a way, you know what I mean? Of like, you know, wow, like I can say some like real out of the park shit that I couldn't talk to a coworker about this. Like, my family, you know, does not understand the term queer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not, you know what I mean? So I'm still in the midst of like figuring it out for myself on a local level, you know what I mean? But I just think you have to, common sense ain't so common. So I'm grateful to hear you say that. We got to get a lot of other people to come.
You're absolutely right about that, though, about the local community, because my uncle was, I mean, has been gay, but he didn't tell us until I was like maybe in my 20s. Like, he never told anybody. He is that he wanted to hide it. You know, he couldn't be open about it. And that's sad, you know, to think that you have to live your life like that. Why?
And that's what I want a lot of straight men. Like, I know Del P and Dolomite would have been like, I think the great representatives on here as well, because when I think of them and like Cam from Bet the House and stuff like that, they don't know it, but they kind of represent like a very traditional, at least for me.
Oh, yeah.
A traditionalist view, but I like it because it's like that traditionalist with the like progressive too. Like I know in their hearts they're not judging anybody. It's just not their thing, not their preference. But that still exists, and I think people, again, you gotta be uncomfortable to let everybody live a little bit freely, because they think, people kissing on TV is like well, I'm not gonna say they think, some people think that's the apocalypse is over, and it's like, no, we just getting a little bit more now. Like, we've been learning since before we could even process thought of like being married, and even back in the 50s and stuff, people couldn't sleep in the same bed because of the thought of what it. That's a thing that's been around for a long time, and we're just getting to a point where we can let other groups have it, and that is actually going to be what projects us into a future in some form of unity happening. I don't want people to fight what Lord, system-wise, societal-wise, what might be happening, that you can kind of fight. But like people getting more or being more seen, you can't ask them to hide that or to bow their heads to heterosexuality, because that's just the thing, because we've been doing it for a long time.
Right. Well, I have a question though. Do you think it's okay that Disney is just putting this in our face and for our kids to see?
Now, see, that's such a loaded thing, because Disney is, I don't want to say
like, Disney, all of them, Pixar, whatever.
Yeah, but the history of Disney is such a like, it's terrible. They're terrible.
They're full
they
of shit.
are.
But
You can say it, Bonnie. They're full of shit.
Because I'm like, now if Disney's doing it, it's a whole sinister.
Oh yeah, no, they're just trying to broad.
It's about the money. That they're not doing it because it's the. And Vonnie, correct me. Stop me when whenever you need to interject. But I think Disney, for the longest, have built their relationship or their business brand on, oh, we're a Christian family, blah blah blah, all this other stuff. And I think what a lot of people do is that, oh, well, this is the new hot trend. Okay, cool. So and so is doing a gay cartoon, lesbian, whatever the case is. You know what? We're gonna do one too. We can't get left behind. And like I said, and that's just from years of Disney and all of these. And it's not picking on Disney, but Disney and all of these other companies just saying that, you know what, we can't get left behind. We don't want to be the last one, and that's part of that bullying culture.
Relationships though that they have going on too. It's not just the gays or lesbian things. It's everything they're trying to do. And it's just. I mean, so I can't even just say like, okay, well, I don't want my child seeing, two women kissing, but then it's just like a white person saying, well, I don't want that black man to be kissing that white woman, and it's, so, it's a
slippery slope.
It is. It really
is. Place to live.
But you asked first of all, even Disney, the way they came up, like, they got their start by stealing ideas, watering it down from like the true. So that. But the question was asked of like, well, how do I feel, or do I feel comfortable with them kind of putting homosexual images, I guess you would say, more in the forefront? And I'm torn on it. I'm torn because I have to think of it of someone who is a bit more traditionalist, and it's like, this is such a new idea, and it's like, can we fine tune it a little bit more before we just start dumping it in things like quality control?
Yeah,
that is a viable question. But then on the other side, it's kind of like, kind of, from I would say the average queer person's perspective is like, well, why do I have to wait? Like, y'all didn't have all of these years of things to whet your appetite. Why now it's time for me to be in the front? Now it's got to be all of these like rules and questions about how people are gonna feel. Why can't it just like be a thing that we don't even make a big deal about, and see where it goes, and see if we don't grow from that as a society. It was one more thing I was gonna say too, but I can't even remember. So
On that part though, I am very torn in between of it too. I don't know
For me,
if I have a
sorry.
younger child, it would be different. But go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I just feel like, why is sexuality even involved in children's cartoons? Let's start
Yes.
there.
That's what I'm saying with me having a young kid, it would probably be different, right?
Like, I just feel like it's unnecessary in general.
Mm.
I don't
True.
think that children, the representation of both energies can definitely be there. But I don't think I need a makeout session with mom and dad happening on like a cartoon.
Because they didn't do it before. It would be a man and a woman standing there and not
Right.
kissing,
They're just
but
knowing
they
that this
show
is
it.
what it is. So
No.
if you want to represent it in a non-sexual way, completely great. I don't think sexuality should even be a conversation for children. I think, unfortunately, when we talk about this whole sexuality thing, I think it's more of society in turn becoming us, the parent, who are overthinking things and now putting it on a child like, hey, Michael, it's okay to wear pink because this kid doesn't care. This kid just thinks it's a clean shirt.
Mm.
So it's us needing to now realizing like, I can't pay attention to these things because at the end of the day, this 1,200 square feet is my world, is this child's world, and it's my responsibility to enforce that and making sure that I keep my child with the open-mindedness of knowing like everyone's not the same.
But go ahead, Vonnie. Go ahead.
Brought up a really good point of like parents putting that extra spin or putting that hyper focus on it, which I think is kind of like affecting the overall message of it. My thing is, sexuality, I think, is a term maybe we need to figure out a better way to put it, because I don't think it's sexuality I think it's the equivalent of, so if we're talking to kids about life and regular life and things that kids are going to maybe one day encounter, why can't we also have a message in there for the kid that likes to wear pink? It's not saying all kids must wear pink and like this is how you must express yourself. I think it's an idea of inclusivity, of like just making sure that if we're talking to kids, we're talking to all version of kids. And there are some kids where they have two dads. You know what I mean? There are some versions of kids where one of their parents is now trans. And so now they've like, it's a version of that. So again, I think the idea of sexuality, I think people get overly, sensitive about that, because it's kind of like, well, you're asking me to put away something that's really important to me, when it's just like, we don't need to get in heavier tones of things. We just need to make sure that people are included, that the new world's makeup is evident in our programming. So that is just a new reality that many people find themselves. And it was, again, people have gay uncles, people have, siblings who are this, that, and the other. It's like, why can't we kind of address that now so that it's not such a big deal later on in life? And there's not, because the more we put it behind a veil, the more secretive it's gonna be. And some of it needs to be put behind a veil. I'm not saying like let everything out. But the more we make it, I was just watching a YouTube thing on like comics and how comics were like these seedy things. And the more that adults regulated it, kids went to more extreme ways to get it and make it contraband and stuff like that. The more we place it as that, the negative is going to occur. Like kid suicides are not just happening just because of bully culture. It's because now it's getting extreme where kids feel like they cannot be themselves. They cannot exist in the current societal functions, when if we just relax some shit, because we all know we sitting on some, that's what always makes me mad about stuff. And nobody, not to anyone in particular, but it's like, I know I'm sitting on some stuff as an adult, you know what I mean? And I can totally understand not necessarily wanting everything to come out, but knowing that about myself, I'm going to be less likely to tear someone else or say, this needs to be hidden, or this, you can't be that kind of way, because I know how I feel about things that I had to keep shameful. I just want us to keep that same energy. It's going to be uncomfortable. You are entitled to ask how much is too much, but then you also have to go, okay, what can I come up off of? Do I really care about this? What am I really uncomfortable with? And what am I willing to compromise in this new world of like people being unified?
See, I would say to that point, I would just put it like this. And we're all on here and nobody can deny that this happened to them growing up. So for me, my and I don't want to say issue. I don't know what the right word is, but I'm just going to use issue right now. My only issue is if I'm sitting down watching Arthur or SpongeBob, whatever cartoon I'm watching, and the gay scene comes up on this, or, if something that I feel is gay, homophobic, whatever,
Yeah.
not homophobic, you know what I mean, gay or fuck, you know what I'm trying to say.
Hella gay. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. See that right there? That's part of that bully culture to make sure.
You say the right term.
Because people will take your shit and try to spin it. You're not wrong to feel that hesitation.
So that's the thing. So my thing is, think about when you were younger, and I'll never ever forget this. When I was I think Harlem Nights, I think, came out in 88, 89.
88, I think.
Okay, 88. I went to the movies with my mother and my uncle, I think two of my uncles, whatever the case is. And we're in the movies, and the scene was sunshine and all of that shit. I got my eyes covered because, oh, no, you're too young for this. And that's sort of how I feel about the gay, the gay or lesbian scene, whatever, in the cartoons and stuff. It's just like,
but you were watching an adult.
No. You're 100%, and
that was a child's thing where, again, they were appealing to children correct. Who are now growing up in the 2021. You know what I mean? That is now a normal thing. But
that's the thing for me, and it's not covering their eyes because I don't want them to see that, because I'm just going to be 100% honest, and anybody that gets mad at what I'm about to say, fuck you. But I'm just going to say this. If I'm sitting there, and I'm just speaking as an adult, I'm not speaking for the kids, as an adult, to see, if I see two women kissing, whatever the case is, I'm not going to turn my head from that shit. But if that's going to be my child and they're going to show two men kissing in a cartoon, two women kissing in a cartoon, allow me, I want to have that conversation or be the one to explain that to them, versus having it brought to them that way. And then my son's looking at me, because my youngest is 9. I have a 15 and a 20-year-old. My 15 and my 20-year-old, I can have that straight up conversation with them, because my 15-year-old, he's in high school, and it's just like, that's when a lot
Vice City is in high school.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's when a lot of that stuff starts. So it's just like, all right, I can have that straightforward conversation. But my 9-year-old, why those two men kissing? Why those two women kissing?
And that's the problem. It's like they're looking at you for answers, and it's just like, why do I have to have this conversation now? You're making me have this conversation. Why? I should be able to have it when I want to.
And that's the thing. It's not that I don't want to, because I'll tell anybody that, listen, I never got the fucking birds and the bees conversation. I still don't know what that shit is about, and I'm 42. But you know what I mean? But if I want to have that conversation with my son, allow me to have it when they're a little older, because at 9, I still think, even with if it's the
innocence of it all,
you know what I mean? Even if it's a heterosexual thing, I don't think them doing sex ed in elementary school or middle school, whenever they do it. I don't know when they do it
Right.
now, but doing it at that age,
They're
I
starting.
still think that is a conversation that should be had by the parents.
Yes, I agree.
Versus YouTube or Disney Channel, whoever, having that conversation with my child. Because like I said, if my son says, oh dad, I'm gonna go watch Disney Plus, okay. But then now with the way a lot of things are, and it's not saying that it shouldn't be out there, because I don't want anybody, at least for me, I'm speaking for me, I don't want anybody to feel that they have to hide or should feel shame or bullied into being or hiding who the fuck that they are.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, like I said on the short episode that we did, Vonnie, and I don't mean it the way it sounds, I don't really care what anybody does behind closed doors as long as they're not harming children.
Yeah.
Outside of harming children, I don't give a fuck what you do with your mate, your spouse. And I mean this 100%. And I'm going to say this because I said this before we came on. Everybody deserves to be either happy or miserable.
Yeah.
If you're happy with your spouse, miserable with your spouse, whatever the case is, everybody deserves that right. It's not my right to say, oh, you're gay, that's wrong. You're gay, you're going to hell, whatever the case is. That's not my space.
It's a lot of heavy screening that you have to do with these children's and their shows now. Like, I thank God, like my son, he's 19 now, but I thank God, like he watched, like he's such an old head. Like I love him so much. Like he will sit down and we're watching like Voltron and like, it was innocent where no one cared about sexuality. Like we just wanted to blow some shit up and drive fast cars.
Exactly.
Like, well, I was able to watch super relatable things with him. I trust me, I get it. Mm-hmm. But you have to want to sit down and watch these shows with them and know, like they might have caught it this one day, and like I did not allow SpongeBob in my house. No. Just because it didn't teach you anything. Forget whatever any other, you weren't learning anything. And 4 years old, my son is using big ass words that I had to go Google before when he's using them with me. And I'm like, what the fuck is this kid talking about? Mm-hmm. And it's not about the content. It's about what are you teaching my child? Yeah. Because if I know I am not the teacher parent. So I need to know whatever I'm allowing him to absorb, it's something that's going to be an embedment for him. I can't just be like, just watch this shit. It looks funny. And let's laugh our asses off. No, there has to be something more. And we are our children's first parent, our first educators. We're the first experience to the world. All these little kids that's been born in quarantine. My little 2-year-old nephew, when he saw me outside, he's like, Titi, you're outside. And I'm like, the fact that he knows that I'm outside because of the mask, like that shows you like the responsibility that we have, that you're bringing those small little understandings to them. Mm-hmm. So now you take that even further and making sure that you're educating them on what you need them to know in the home and making sure that you're not being super jaded, because I'm West Indian. Half the shit that I dealt with in my lifetime, and I'm just like, I was at my friend's house. He has a fucking dog walking around the fucking house. And I'm like, this nigga belong outside.
Yeah, that's
raised this way. So, we have to be open and be willing to evolve as people, as parents, even as women and men. Like you talk about being uncomfortable with this like the whole podcasting thing. One of the things that I say is we started this because I wanted to be uncomfortable. I can't grow if I'm not uncomfortable. Yeah. And, we talk about things that people may not be willing to talk about. Like your uncle, someone should have said to him, like, it's okay for you to be who you are. But no, again, talking about sex, we don't talk about it because it's shameful. It's like, sex, it's dirty, it's messy, it's nasty, but it's so good. We all want it. But, no one wants to talk about it.
Nobody want to put their name on it, girl.
Exactly. I don't have a problem with it because we can't grow and evolve if we don't. Why the fuck you think a caterpillar go through that whole shit to turn into a fucking butterfly? Hello? Anyway, that's my piece.
That's my rant.
That's my TED Talk for tonight.
A few things that I wanted to address because a lot of great ideas are coming out. I think that's my problem, bringing it back to the topic of like, originally it was called like bully culture, but I think it should be an exploration of like the mainstream. And one of the bad things about the mainstream is it's this superficial idea of what unity looks like, of what wholesome, things look like. And you rose the question of like, well, if I'm not ready for my child to see that, like, should it, it's always the question, it should exist. It's just, how do we regulate, or how do we figure out how your child has access to it? And I think in following or trusting this mainstream idea, a lot of people, parents and whatever, have relinquished their raising of their child to the mainstream, when that is superficial. They are chasing numbers, they are chasing control, because we have to have a population where everyone's addressed, or this shit gonna look a lot different. It's gonna be a lot more fighting. You know what I mean? So I get it. Like, I just wrote down, like, who raises your children, right? And most people will be like, I do, blah 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 blah. But
It's
just
TV.
because of the way the way, who has time for anything anymore, right? Well, like, more and more and more on the go. Now I have to, again, give more time to this media for my children. You know what I mean? Again, that's fair. That's fair. But I think people have to get uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. It's a higher demo out there than you think. It might not be local for you, but there's more people out there addressing it. And so you have to ask yourself, am I going to opt out of it? So again, does that mean, Disney Plus, I need you to have a thing where I could put, some selectors. So, or I can make a custom playlist for my kid. These are the things they can look at, or compromise. And I'm pushing for compromise. I want everyone to be happy. Like, I can, though I like gay ass shit. I don't know why. God just put me in it and was like, that's what I'm with. But I'm not so removed. That's why I'm a little nervous of being known as like the queer one or whatever, because I'm still very Black. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm more percentage of that than any other community. I just want to see compromise where everybody's addressed.
But here's the thing: why do you have to even figure that out?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You shouldn't have to separate yourself.
Well, no, I will say no. Well, I have to separate myself because it's an interest thing. At least the way I'm thinking of it, it's like my programming for myself, whether it's podcasting, TV, whatever, a percentage of that just like someone would label it as queer. So, out of a week, I listen to queer podcasts, I keep up on the RuPaul's Drag Race, that kind of stuff. That would be labeled a queer thing. But just because I enjoy that programming, I'm still very Black in what I watch. You know what I mean? I only felt a need to address that because when people know you, once you identify yourself as queer, it's like, it's kind of like that's your specialty now. Like, you don't get to come to the land of where everybody talk about the juke joint and da 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 da. You got to stay over there. And I'm like, I want to be over there. Well, he brought up Harlem Nights, so that's just been you know what I mean? I want to talk about that. I don't want to be put to the land of like what people would be queer. So that's all I mentioned that for.
No, but I'll say this so we don't end up with a long ass episode.
Oh, right.
But
we're not just talking as friends.
But I will say this, and this is just me being who the hell that I am. Like I said, a lot of you don't really know me, and like I said, bringing you all on and me speaking, I don't have a problem speaking freely. Because honestly, I don't give a fuck what people think about how I speak or how I think. You know what I mean? And like I said, my people are my people. I'm not picking Black, white, straight, gay, queer, whatever. You know what I mean? I rock with whoever has good vibes. I don't give a fuck. Like I said, and I can say this even before coming into this, my circle is so small. If I was to lose anybody, it should have turned into a triangle.
Listen.
I don't rock with a whole bunch.
In a couple spaces, I'm like,
mine's a straight line.
Exactly, and that's
gonna do this. Is we gonna do this?
I just need good vibes and shit like that. But one thing I gotta ask Vonnie, because I peeped this out. I grew up in a house with 6 women. Is that a gems and a hologram thing in your background?
Yes, you saw it.
Wait.
I saw that the last time we were on.
I have
This
that.
is the complete DVD collection.
I own
This
that.
is one of my most produced.
I own that. One of my friends yesterday, he was like, because my nails, like, they glowed in the dark. I had no idea. He's like, you're giving me Gem and a hologram vibes. I'm like, perfect.
Yeah,
And see, and that's why I'm glad y'all here to remind me of, like, don't put the labels on myself either. Like, don't let the labels
need them.
because see, people would label the interest in that. Like I think of I'm like nerdy. Like you can see my setup. Like this is Legend of Zelda stuff. Y'all see my little X-Men stuff, and so people will label that nerdy, or like again, you'll be surprised how many gay people love Jim and the Holograms.
Listen, the music in that cartoon,
hello,
you could not tell me my
legendary.
name was not Aja, okay?
Old people, sorry.
Seasoned and refined. Okay,
1985 people.
Everything gets redone. Okay.
Hey, you know what? For all of the haters outside of Simone, because she's so cool, I would say fuck the haters.
My son loves Gem and the Holograms. Okay,
our generation had the best. We had the best Transformers, Gem and the Holograms.
The fashion.
You did have the best Transformers. I'm gonna give you that.
Okay.
G.I. Joe, all that shit. We had the best. Even the first X-Men cartoon. We had the best shit.
Y'all know
we're getting there.
So for all of the people, Vonnie, that call you a nerd, I'm a nerd too, man, because I love my shit.
And I will say this to you, Vonnie, about the labels. Like, I get it. Because it's like, when you're trying to piece yourself together, you feel like all these scattered pieces. I understand that.
Yeah.
I was watching my son, he's 18, he's 19 now. I had a birthday party for him when he turned 18. And we all started to speak to him because as a family, we had a really, really rough time the past couple of years. And everyone we sat him down in a chair and put him in front of the people that loved him. And I asked him, did you want to invite friends? Did you want to invite? He's like, no, mommy, just my family. Just the people he's like, everyone who loves me, everyone who means something to me are here. Mm-hmm. And my sister stood up and said something to him. And she was like, you're just Taylor. You're not anybody else. You're not trying to fit in with the cool crowd. You're not trying to do what everyone else is doing. You're not trying to do the trendy things. You're just who you are. And that's how God made you to be. Don't worry about I'm queer, I'm a woman, you're Vonnie V. Like, who the fuck cares about anything else? The labels don't matter. It's now you having to, like, it's a societal thing, like you said, like, stop worrying about all that stuff. Because if an 18-year-old, and he's been like this since he's small, like, he's never wanted to run with the crowd. Nope. Because I've taught him and instilled in him, like, who wants to be the same when you're built to be somebody different? Like, that's just, like, at 6 years old, you ever watched The Last Airbender?
Of course.
And with the arrow, that's how my 6-year-old had his haircut. And as soon as other kids came to school with his haircut like that, he cut the shit off. Mm-hmm. You see? Like, he's always just wanted to be himself and nobody else. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to hang out and do it. Just be you. The labels are unnecessary. It's okay to play dominoes over here and then go play spades and then to fucking go play table tennis. Like, be all of them things. Who the fuck cares? The labels is trash. We have to take that shit out of our head.
Labels.
And still how to learn to exist in the world that's not so perfect. I'll say for me, like, y'all know I totally agree with y'all. It has always been my experience of, like, being the exception of, like, whether I was the only Black kid in the all-white class, or I would go, I went to, like, city school when I was younger and stuff like that, and, like, being the weird Black kid of that. So I've always been, like, that percentage of the population is just like, you doing some different shit, and we don't know how to feel about that. So I'm still growing from that. And people got to understand that is a process that's going to be sometimes uncomfortable. Like, I don't work in a place where I would never tell my coworkers that I was queer. I would never tell them that. Even though I've had, like, the rainbow flag in my classroom, it's just people are still out there with picks and stones, y'all. Like, it is some people that still archaic, and it's gonna it's gonna take a while. That's why I say programming has got to get a little bit better.
Yeah.
That's not the case no more, or not as much.
But you know what you need to remember, and I'm gonna wrap this up here because we'll be on motherfucker.
I know. You got me with the gym.
like-
that got me opened. I could talk about that stuff.
No, it did, because I'm a gym hologram.
I know my cartoons and shit. Sorry, Simone.
It's okay.
Oh, we want to watch the episode, Simone.
Simone wants to talk about who is it? Was it Rugrats or Ed, and Eddie? That's the shit you grew up with.
Oh yes, it is.
Me too. Me too, though. I came up on that. I just have appreciation for the old stuff.
No.
You have to. If you don't know where you came from, how you gonna know where you're trying to get to?
I do too. I just don't. I never heard of the gems. Fuck. God damn it.
Oh my God.
Anyway, Ringo, please go before they keep going.
Okay,
you know, we're gonna do Simone. We're gonna have a YouTube night where we're just gonna watch Gem and the holograms get you caught up.
I'm there.
That sounds good. Fine.
No, I will say this in closing. One, you know, fuck the bullies and the bully culture shit. You know what I mean? God, the higher power, whoever you believe in, made us all unique in our own ways. Just because a motherfucker doesn't understand or respect who we are and the reason that we move the way that we move doesn't make us weird. It makes the motherfuckers weird for not being able to assimilate or transition to the to the greatness and the coolness that we have and that and who we are. Because like I said, we all don't fit in. I tell everybody, and I think I mentioned a couple times, I'm 6'2". I've been this height since the 5th grade. You know the shit that I had to put up with for being tall. Oh God, here come the giant, here come the lurch, blah blah blah, all this type shit. And like I said, at first, I wanted to fight every motherfucker that had something to say back then. But then, like I said, it made it teaches us character and all this other shit, and that just makes us the cool kids. We don't fit into the stereotypical norms and all that type shit. And that's why I want to have these conversations about the whole bully culture shit, just to remind people it's okay to have your own opinion. If you don't agree with something, it doesn't mean that you're wrong because you might feel a certain way. As long as you respect whoever, what I mean, you're gonna have a white person that may not understand Black culture completely. That doesn't mean that they're not for you or whatever the case is. It's all about respect and willing to learn. That's why I said, Vonnie, what I mean? I want to learn. What I mean? When shit comes up, because having this podcast, I like talking about different things. I don't want to come to the table with the same shit every week. I'm in my 3rd season. I don't want to be doing the same shit 4 or 5, episodes from now, seasons from now. I'm still talking about, LGBTQ and Black Lives Matter and all shit. No, I want to progress. I want to find out how the fuck I could be an advocate to help, that movement move forward. Yeah. And, when it comes to sex positivity, how the fuck can I help to help people be cool? You fucking at the end of the night when you go home, whatever the case is anyway. So what
Preferably.
What I mean? What the fuck is the thing about? You know what I mean? Do what you do, be happy, unhappy, whatever the fucking case is. And I'm gonna shut up because I don't want to ramble too long. But I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna say thank you, ladies, for coming on Ladies Lair Podcast. Y'all came on. I hit y'all up in the 12th hour. Y'all came through.
I was tired as fuck.
Vonnie, you came through, like I said, and we were able to finish our conversation. So I'm gonna take this shot to you all. And y'all let the people know how, when, and where they could catch you, your podcast and everything that y'all doing.
Vonnie, you want to go first?
Oh, well, thank you. I sure will. I am Vonnie V Official on Instagram. I'm getting ready to restart the Late to the Party podcast, so that'll be out on my Instagram soon. You can get us on Instagram at Late Party Pod, on Instagram. And that's it for me, Ladies Lair.
Come on, do your thing, girl.
No,
that's not my thing.
I know. Okay, yes. We're the Ladies Lair. You could catch us at the Ladies Lair Podcast in Instagram, and then Lair_ladies at Twitter. Hate fucking Twitter. I say this every goddamn time. I'm sorry. Literally hate Twitter. Okay. Whatever. Please go to our Instagram. It's way better. DM us. We're open. Not legs open, but we're open. Talk to us.
And all streaming podcasts, Apple, Breaker,
Spotify.
Anchor, Spotify, you name it, we're there. We're on YouTube. We're great to look at. So I would really go to YouTube,
Ladies Lair
subscribe,
Podcast.
like, follow, all that shit.
The Ladies Lair Podcast, very easy. Yeah.
I love your podcast. I love working with you. I once I get my life scheduled and together, whenever that's gonna happen, I'm definitely gonna be reaching out to do an episode with you. So
yes, you know we love you, Vonnie.
You know we love you, Vonnie.
Hard for you.
Yes. No more. You don't get any more from us, Ringo. Sorry.
You've capped out at 2 for the season, honey.
You capped out, son.
I appreciate the scraps that I get,
No,
but the fact that we jumped back on with you 2 times, that's true love. We fuck with you.
No, what true love is that I didn't have no makeup on all goddamn day, and I still put makeup on for you. You're lucky.
I appreciate
it. Yeah, man, I have to makeup on. Chris was like, "Put your face," and I was like, "Okay, fine."
I mean, beauty is what we're selling here. Besides us,
no, we're selling fine. Anyway,
I couldn't do it today. I was just like, no.
I was almost there.
But thank you again for having us. This is a great conversation. Vonnie, thank you for your opinions and your no judgment, because I know my mouth is crazy.
Oh, no, beautiful.
I do really appreciate you all, and like I said, I have love for all that have love for me, my movement, y'all's movement. If you're not rocking what we rocking with, fuck you. You know, it's what it is. And we need to talk 23 podcast drops every Wednesday. This will actually be part 2 of my bully culture series. So it'll be dropping not this Wednesday coming, but the following Wednesday. I think that's the 21st, if I'm not mistaken. So just look forward to it, ladies. Go enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I appreciate the time and look forward to doing this again with another topic. Thank you.
You're watching Jim in a Hologram.
Yes!
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
All right.
Thank y'all. Have a good one, y'all.
All right.